Spanish interpreter, please.
Yes, present. Amaury Pacheco.
Mr. Pacheco, you are before the court charged with burglary to an occupied dwelling.
Señor Pacheco, está usted ante el tribunal por allanamiento a una vivienda ocupada.
I find probable cause. State what is your bond recommendation.
Fallo que existe motivo fundado para este cargo. Vamos a ver qué recomienda la fiscalía como fianza.
State would only ask $2,500 on this one.
Excuse me?
2,500.
2.500 de fianza solicita la fiscalía.
On burglary to an occupied dwelling?
¿En un allanamiento de una vivienda ocupada?
The state would then ask for 5,000, Judge.
Your bond will
Entonces la
be
fiscal
5,000 with a stay away order. You're not to return to that location.
La fiscalía solicita fianza de $5,000. El juez le fija fianza de $5,000 con una orden de alejamiento. No puede regresar usted a esa dirección.
Dagny Perez Martinez.
Your Honor, he has a hold for immigration.
Thank you.
And this is a co-defendant of an earlier called defendant.
Correct. He's also charged with possession of cocaine.
Este señor es coacusado del caso anterior, pero también tiene el cargo de tenencia de cocaína.
Thank you. You are to stay away from Magic City Casino and not go to that location. Your bonds will be $2,500 each charge.
Debe usted mantenerse alejado de Magic City Casino. No puede regresar a esa dirección. Su fianza es de $2,500 por cada cargo.
Vladimir Almenar.
Bonded out.
Thomas Graham.
Present.
Mr. Graham, you are before the court charged with grand theft.
Yes.
Judge, I would ask if you would consider the pretrial service program for Mr. Graham. He's currently 62. I don't see any other arrests since 1985.
Where have you lived your
Yeah.
life?
Here in Miami all my life.
Where are you flying from?
Washington.
What were you doing in Washington?
Went to visit my sister for the 4th.
Who do you live with here in Miami?
My girlfriend.
Where do you work?
Yes.
Where do you work?
Jackson Health.
Excuse me?
Jackson Health.
Jackson Hill. What do you do there?
Janitorial.
What is it that you're requesting, counsel?
Pretrial services.
Placing on pretrial services with a alternate bond of $2,500. Gene Washington. Gene Washington. You're before the court charged with robbery, sudden snatching.
He has two cases. One is a domestic violence robbery, and the other one is a non-domestic violence aggravated assault. But they are separate cases, not the same case with two charges.
The second case arises out of June 23rd. Five per hour cost for both charges. I'm going to enter a no contact order allowing him to go one time in the presence of the police to retrieve his belongings. And I'm entering a second order require him to stay away from the alleged victim of the aggravated assault. To aggravated assault, your bond will be $5,000. And $5,000 for the robbery. Francisco Rodriguez.
Bonded out, Your Honor.
Bishop,
Good morning. Isaiah Mitchell. Good
present.
Mr. Mitchell, you're charged with robbery by sudden snatching, criminal mischief, and battery. I find probable cause. You are to have no contact with Eunice Edie.
Judge, they've never lived together. I'm not sure why it's marked as domestic violence order. Or domestic violence shouldn't qualify.
Beg your pardon? The what shouldn't qualify?
It shouldn't qualify as a domestic violence case.
Well, I don't think it's charged as a domestic violence case.
I don't know what kind of stay away order. Yeah.
They were tagged as domestic violence. You can see it on the A form, and so the DV stay away order was the one that was sent. I think they did that because a relationship for a year, and she was staying with him at the time that this all happened.
But the paragraph of the stay away order, regardless of what the title is what controls. So I just don't want him to have any conflict, period.
Okay.
With regards to counts one, state, what is your recommendation?
5,000 is the standard.
4,500 for count two, 5,000 for count one, 1,000 for count three. Javier Martin. Or Javier Martin.
Judge, on Mr. Michelle, he cannot afford an $8,500 bond, but he thinks he can make a $5,000 bond total. Would your honor be willing to reduce the bond so he can match a $5,000 bond total?
Bond on the first count would be 3,500. Count two, 500. Count three, 1,000.
Thank you, Judge.
Javier Martin. Mr. Martin, you're charged with aggravated assault, criminal mischief, and domestic battery. I find probable cause. You are to have no contact with Arelis Martinez. I would allow contact one time in the presence of the police for you to remove your belongings. With regards to aggravated assault, state
$5,000.
$5,000, 2,500. Domestic battery, 2,500. So 5,000, 2,500 in each of the second and third counts. Jesse Brown. Jesse Brown, you are charged with grand theft, possession of oxycodone, possession of less than 20 grams of cannabis. Does an electric bike by itself?
I don't see any value, Judge, listed.
Well, that's what I'm asking. Is a electric bike by itself like a motor vehicle that is grand theft by definition, or
No, this is not a grand theft vehicle case. Because it would need to have an engine over 49 cc, so 50 or higher to count as that. And I don't think we don't have any evidence of what battery power this would be.
So it should be petty.
Yeah.
only
This becomes a
because
popular clause, of course.
only because they didn't put the value. But bond account one will be 500 as petty theft, 2,500 possession of oxycodone, 500 possession of less than 20 grams of cannabis. Norberto Reyes. Wow.
Spanish is preferred.
Spanish interpreter present.
Mr. Reyes, you are before the court charged with DUI manslaughter, leaving the scene of an accident causing death.
Señor, está usted ante este tribunal por manejar bajo los efectos de alcohol o sustancias con homicidio involuntario y haber abandonado la escena de un accidente con muertos.
Your Honor, the state filed the motion for pretrial detention in this case under the DUI manslaughter section because he has a previous DUI.
La Fiscalía presenta una moción para retención sin derecho a fianza debido a la acusación de homicidio involuntario por manejar bajo los efectos.
Judge will be invoking Mr. Reyes' right to counsel and his right to remain silent.
I find probable cause for both charges. I will grant the motion for pretrial detention. You will be detained.
Judge, would you consider house arrest
No,
for Mr. Reyes?
I will consider it, but deny your request.
La defensa invoca su derecho a mantenerse en silencio, así como su derecho a tener abogado y solicita arresto domiciliario. Su señoría considera la petición, pero la rechaza, falla que existe motivo fundado para los cargos y le va a conceder a la Fiscalía la moción de retención previa a juicio.
We'll pass this case until when? We'll pass it till Thursday before the court to review the
Your Honor,
detention order.
there's no bond each count?
Yes, ma'am.
Vamos a poner el caso para el jueves ante el tribunal. No hay derecho a fianza en ninguno de los dos cargos.
John Gula.
Your Honor, this is a second case the state filed a pretrial detention motion on.
All right, let's talk about that. This hearing had a little bit of everything. Multiple defendants, a mix of bond negotiations, language interpretation, and the occasional curveball for the judge. Judge Chris Martin handled the whole thing with steady control, moving briskly from one case to the next without losing composure. You could tell he was listening closely to each side, whether it was the state pushing for standard bond amounts or defense counsel trying to shave those numbers down to something their clients could actually meet. The first notable moment came with Mr. Pacheco, whose case required a Spanish interpreter and involved a stay-away order from a specific address. The back and forth here was quick, with the state initially misspeaking on bond, but quickly clarifying the request. Judge Martin kept it professional, making sure the defendant understood both the amount and the restrictions. There was also the added wrinkle of a co-defendant from an earlier case, which the judge handled seamlessly without derailing the flow. Then we had Mr. Graham, a 62-year-old with no arrests since 1985, who works as a janitor at Jackson Health. His attorney floated the idea of pretrial services with a backup bond, and you could see Judge Martin weighing the practicality, recognizing the clean history but still keeping safeguards in place. Cases like his are a reminder that not every hearing is high drama. Sometimes it's about sorting through the details to balance accountability with fairness. The atmosphere shifted when Mr. Washington appeared, facing two separate matters, one involving a robbery by sudden snatching, the other an aggravated assault. Judge Martin imposed dual stay-away orders, one allowing a single supervised visit to collect belongings. It was a good example of him tailoring orders to real-life logistics, while still protecting all parties. The conversation around whether a case qualified as domestic violence was a bit tangled, but the judge cut through the labeling confusion by focusing on the actual conduct and the end goal: no contact, period. In Mr. Mitchell's case, we saw the defense push for a reduced total bond from $8,500 to $5,000, and Judge Martin met them part way by adjusting individual counts. That's classic courtroom give and take. Both sides walk away with something. The Jesse Brown matter even had a brief legal detour over whether an electric bike counts as a grand theft vehicle, with the judge clarifying that engine size matters. Under the statute, that exchange had a touch of dry humor in the so should be petty moment, but it also showed Judge Martin keeping the record straight. The most serious turn came with Mr. Reyes, facing DUI manslaughter charges with a prior history. The state moved for pretrial detention, and the defense floated the idea of house arrest. Judge Martin didn't waver, denying the request and granting detention, making it clear he found probable cause and was applying the law as written. By the time the hearing wrapped, we'd seen a cross-section of the court's daily rhythm: bond settings, nuanced conditions, and the occasional hard line when public safety called for it. If you found this hearing insightful, consider subscribing, hitting the bell, and letting me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every one.